ability and fun. In Romans 12:2, Paul tells us, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Amen? My grandparents, John Sr. and Francis Bandemere, lived this verse out during their lives. You know, they didn't walk around with it plastered on their foreheads because they didn't need to. They lived it, which was even better, because the way we live our lives might be the only Bible that people will ever read. And we need to make sure we live the kind of lives that would glorify Jesus. Amen? Amen. So over the years, whenever we would need to stop racing because some kind of cleanup needed to take place on the racetrack in order to make it safe again, my dad, John Bandemere Jr., there's a lot of Johns in our family. Once you find a name that, you know, is a good name, you just name everybody that, yeah. He would take hold of the microphone, and he would launch into stories about the racetrack and about the history. And most of the time that he did this, somebody that was in attendance that day would come to one of us and say, is there a book? Is there a book that has these stories in it? And every time the answer was, nope. As a matter of fact, we all thought it was kind of funny that the stories that we all grew up hearing might be something that people would actually pay money to read. But after we had celebrated our 50th anniversary at the Speedway, and I was spearheading a program for elementary age children called Race to Read, our family started talking a little more seriously about putting together a book in order to capture the personal recollections from those people who had been instrumental in the formation of the Speedway. In fact, many of these people, you know, you can imagine after 50 plus years at that point, many of those people were getting older and were passing on, and we were losing some of those stories. One of those people was David Beckman, and I don't know if that name sounds familiar to any of you, but he was a former president of Colorado Christian University. And ironically enough, he was in my grandfather's Sunday school class when he taught Sunday school over off of 29th and Sheridan. So there's so many connections. Again, when you're Colorado natives, you know, it just happens. So in 2014, after many interviews with family and friends, I located an author in Oklahoma, and we published a book about our family and business, and it's titled Living It Loud, Faith, Family, and the Pursuit of Speed. And and honestly, probably the best word in this is the word that's not even capitalized.